For the past week, I have been glued to my chair, doing nothing but playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh! Come on. Yes! And the months before that, I was doing nothing but thinking about Monster Hunter Wilds. Once I got on that hype train, there was no going back for me. This game has taken over my life. Where the fuck do you think you're going, boy? Even before it was released, I couldn't sleep at night over how excited I was to finally get this new Monster Hunter game and scratch that itch that Monster Hunter World used to scratch for me. And while the game isn't perfect, my game crashed. Oh. Has some pretty glaring problems that will hopefully be addressed. I'm looking at you. I think Monster Hunter Wilds is an amazing game, but is it a good Monster Hunter game? Without further ado, here are my final thoughts on Monster Hunter Wilds after 80 hours of gameplay. Monster Hunter Wilds has a, how do I put this nicely, a unique storyline. Now, if it wasn't obvious, I'm going to spoil the absolute shit out of this game. So, if you want to experience this blind, turn the video off now. But basically, this creature named Arkveld tries to kill everyone in this underground village. This old dude secretly knew that Arkveld wouldn't be able to kill anyone, but finally found his chance to get rid of this annoying-ass kid. Kid walks through the desert and nearly dies. Your future partner comes across him, and now all of a sudden you're roped into this adventure looking for his home. Skipping ahead quite a bit, once you find his home, the kid falls in love with the creature that tried to kill everyone. So to assert dominance upon him, you murder it. Then it turns out that there's another evil creature who is very bad. There's this long, drawn-out scene of an argument, and it turns out that the child's necklace can banish it, or something like that. But doing so might destroy the entire ecosystem. Eventually, the child decides he doesn't care and wants everything to die. Except for the people, of course, teehee. So you traverse to where the creature is, and all of a sudden, everyone realizes that you exist, and is like, just kill it, Lamau. So you do. Then the story ends and everyone lives happily ever after. I hope you liked my goofy explanation of the story because let's be real guys, the game's story is just there to act as a tutorial for the rest of the game. With that being said though, I actually really enjoyed these characters. Alma specifically. She's so much better than holy shit! Jesus Christ! Sorry, I just had like a really disturbing image pop into my head. Basically, what I'm trying to say, guys, is the bar is so low for a story in these games anyway. At least the people in these games are actually people now and not just some weird generalized term for their existence. It's a good design choice, and I'm decently invested into all of them. You spend about 15 hours in this tutorial version of the game, then about another 15 until you unlock tempered monsters. I would say this game finally picks up at around Hunter Rank 50, where you unlock the final main quest of the game. This is actually my favorite mission in the entire game, and allow me to explain why. I actually felt something for this kid during this mission. His name is actually Nata. You see, in the not too distant past, when you first kill Arkveld, Nata identifies with the monster, because the monster is actually a synthetic creation, and Arkveld escaped his chains and began living how he wanted to live. He identified with Arkveld because he felt like he also was living how he wanted to live now, I guess. Anyway, the issue is Arkveld was just mindlessly killing everything because it lost control. So the first time you kill it, you're kind of forced to. Now time has passed. and Nata is actually training to become a hunter himself and has been tracking an Arkfeld for quite a while. I forgot to mention that at the end of the final mission, they find a stupid fucking Arkfeld egg so that you can kill him again and have it make sense, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, you travel over to where Arkfeld is expected to be, and sure enough, he's kicking the ever-living shit out of Raydao again, because fuck Raydao, I guess. But while the life is being extracted from Raydao, I totally expected Nata to start crying again. Oh, what's happening? I don't like this, Daddy. Do not let this happen. He actually learned a very, very important lesson from you, the hunter. The main character taught this child a very, very important lesson. It must die. Oh, shit.
Well then, let's get to it.
Anyway, the things I actually liked about the story were the cutscenes, especially when the monsters fought. That was pretty cool. But yeah, don't expect a story like The Last of Us. Not that one. No, not the second one. What the fuck is wrong with you? Boy, oh boy. Where do I begin? No, actually, who do I start with? There's like 29 completely unique... Man, shut your ass up. There's 29 different monsters in Monster Hunter Wilds. Some shit on you. Some try to eat you. Some try to burn you alive. But at the end of the day, they all want the same thing. To kill you. One of the absolute coolest parts about Monster Hunter, and why I love it so fucking much, is the fact that yes, these are scary monsters that you fight, but they exist as creatures as part of a giant ecosystem. So there's predators, prey, territorial beasts, and the super scary top of the food chain apex predators. So yes, all of these guys are extremely interesting. Just to name one, Zuwu is a monster you fight a bit later in the story, and actually turns out to be the apex predator of the region. At first, you'd probably laugh at that and say, yeah, right. Then all of a sudden, you realize something. Holy fuck! Zuwu is not only incredibly quick, precise, and spooky. Dude, he's like a fucking ninja octopus. It's the coolest shit ever. You can interact with him in multiple different ways too. Like, if you hit his sword tentacle things enough, they get chopped off and he loses a ton of range and damage. Honestly, I think Zuwu might be my favorite new monster in the game. Oh, and also, just so you know, this is one monster out of 29. I could go on and on about quite a few of the monsters in this game, but honestly, I think the glaze session I just did for Zuwu should get the point across of how freakishly good the monsters are in this game. I mean, holy shit! Raydao's reveal gave me goosebumps so intense I nearly nut in my pants! What the fuck? Holy shit. Gormagala sent me to the hospital from a fucking heart attack.
Please let me live! Holy shit! It's following me! Oh my god! Ah! Oh my god!
And Jindahad is one of my favorite fights in the game.
Get over here, Crimson! Crimson!
The monsters inside of Monster Hunter Wilds are, put simply, fucking fantastic. Also, as someone who has really only played World, not only were most of the monsters in this game new to me, but they brought back two of my favorites like Odogaron and Vulgar Anjanath. Okay, seriously. Why not just add normal Anjanath? Like, who the fuck saw Vulgar Anjanath and was excited? I mean, yeah, I'm happy we get Anjanath back, but like, why not just the normal version? That being said, though, I was totally chill with Odogaron being Ebony Odogaron, because I like the edgy armor. Also, don't talk shit about the way I pronounce Odogaron. He's a doggo, so I call him Odogaron. Bitch. Next segment. The gameplay loop in Wilds looks a little something like this.
Oh, I like this. Murder. Oh, nice. I can make this now. Wait a second.
God damn it.
I still need another part. Murder again. Wow, look at me. I look so cool now. Me need honey. Claw!
Anyway, now that the zoomer explanation is over, Monster Hunter Wilds maintains that core gameplay loop of murdering things to wear their skin, so you can murder more things and wear their skin. It's extremely simple and extremely fun. On top of that, we now have a little claw on our wrist, so instead of having to get off our mount and grab ingredients, we can just look at them and press a button. It definitely gives you something to do as you mindlessly wait for your Uber to bring you to your destination. More on him in a minute. Let me just get something off my chest real quick. I think that Wild's World is phenomenal. It has multiple seasons, a day-night cycle, a fucking moon cycle. It is absolutely beautiful. And on top of all of this, it is filled to the brim with life. And it just feels so good to explore. But I just don't feel like it's as interesting as Worlds.
What did he say?
Now look, okay, I can already see the anger that this opinion is going to bring, but like, seriously guys, the locales inside of Monster Hunter Wild are not nearly as interesting as a fucking coral reef being fully sustained by thousands of rotting corpses. The Undead Vale is one of my absolute favorite locales in any video game, because I'm just edgy like that. And the coral reef is one of the most memorable and interesting places I've ever seen in a video game. These two locations are not only beautiful in their own way, but completely contrast each other in design, and I just think whoever thought of this could get the fucking Glucky 9000 from me, because holy shit, I love this place! Anyway, back on topic. In Wilds, we have the Windward Plains, Scarlet Forest, Oilwell Basin, Iceward Cliffs, and finally, the ruins of Wyveria. Each area is distinct, has its own seasons, and most importantly, has its own native monsters. My personal favorite locale in this game is the Iceward Cliffs, because it's basically a giant frozen over castle. Also, some of the coolest monsters you fight in the game can spawn here. Not you! Not you! And the combat theme in this area absolutely slaps. But I mean, that's really all the positive I have to say about the locales and Wilds. I think they are all just fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not disappointed, but I'm not particularly impressed. I enjoy the locales, and that's that. But holy fuck, Capcom! Why the fuck can't we explore the castle? Like, bruh, this shit would be lit! Oh my lord. How do I even begin this segment? All 14 unique... All 12 unique weapons in this game that actually exist. Every weapon in this game got a massive overhaul. New animations, new moves, and most importantly and significantly, you can now aim. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. No more missing your third swing of the greatsword, or those goddamn fucking amped elemental discharges from the charge blade, bruh! Come on, bitch! Let's fucking do this! Aww. You can now literally turn as you are attacking, and it has heavily changed the way you play. Positioning is no longer as important for certain weapons. There's also a system in the game now called wounds, where when you hit a monster enough in the same spot, it will create a nasty little opening that you can exploit for massive damage. Some weapons even get powered up by this opening. So I swear to God, if you fucking bow users break one more wound, I'm gonna fucking kill. It's honestly a great system, and it feels very rewarding. However, certain weapons can get bonuses for destroying wounds, while others really don't get anything other than the damage that is associated with breaking it. So a lot of times in multiplayer when I'm struggling to get a perfect block with my charge blade because I suck so I can morph into Savage Axe, I'm looking to create and destroy a wound so I can do my DPS. But usually, what ends up happening is someone who absolutely doesn't need to break it, I'm looking at you, motherfucker, sees it, and their neurons shoot off, and it can be just a little annoying. That's really all I have to say bad about the combat system, though. Other than that, expect to cut off tails, block fire breaths, and square up with monsters, because this is the absolute best we've ever had combat in the series. I wanted to write the Palico its own dedicated segment, but I also remembered that I should probably talk about the bird too. First, we will start with the Palico. This little dude is awesome. The Palico in this game talks, and I'm so fucking sorry to all the people who scrunched their nose at this and decided to choose Palico language, because this little shit is adorable.
I don't know if it'll work, but finding out is half of the excitement, yeah?
You guys are actually missing out. Fuck you. Not only does the cat give you useful tips, announce helpful things in combat, and constantly heal and cure you of status effects, but they're also like an actual character in this game. When I had the option to do the cat's side missions, I was so excited. During the story, the cat was my favorite part, and I was always anticipating what they had to say next.
Well, that looks fun.
Maybe I'm just a goofy ass dude, but the story would have been so much more of a drag if the cat wasn't in it. I love what Wilds did with the Palico, and I really, really hope that in the future, we get to continue to strengthen our bond with our little partner. As for the Sacred, however, I have a bit of a controversial opinion on this thing. I kind of feel like the Sacred hurts the game quite a bit. Now, don't get me wrong, the scenes of you climbing a fucking waterfall and jumping across floating rocks is just absolutely amazing. But half of the time you're on the Sacred, you aren't even controlling it. You just hit a button and it brings you exactly to where you need to be. I know the lore reason for this is because they smell real good. I feel like this world that they've created is way too interesting to be taking a backseat because people who playtested it were getting lost or some stupid shit. Now, I don't know exactly who to blame for this, but someone is to blame for this mechanic, and I know it isn't me. So which one of you motherfuckers is it? Since I didn't talk about exploration earlier, I want to talk about it now. I just hit my desk. I want to talk about it now because we are on the topic of the Sacred. I think Wilds would have been a much better game without the Sacred, because instead of running around this giant lush landscape that has been fucking handcrafted, you hit a single button, then scroll TikTok. I know you're doing it. Don't act like you haven't done it before. I know you're fucking doing it. I know most people probably won't agree with me, but hey, this is my opinion, not yours. Okay, I could talk about this for way too long, so I'm going to make the conscious decision to not fucking do that. In Wilds, there's two things you want: Ardean weapon parts and decorations. Ardean weapons are these weapons you can build using 3 parts, then upgrade using ore. And decorations are basically little perks you can put on your weapons and armor respectively. They are actually both quite well designed, and a good grind to take part in. You get Ardean weapons by killing tempered monsters, which are basically just harder variants of the normal monsters, but the only ones that are good are the rarity 8 ones, so you'll be focus farming kill quests on some of the harder monsters in the game. Pretty much the same thing with decorations. Kill harder monsters, get better decorations. The end game of Wilds is quite simple, and honestly, I don't really have any complaints.
I will slay Zoshia.
You bitch.
This is probably like the 10th time I've rewritten this segment of the video because I absolutely love this game to death and want to be as fair as possible with the criticism I dish out to it. Originally, in this part of the video, I was gonna complain a bit about how I feel like Monster Hunter Wilds didn't really challenge me at all. I've genuinely been mulling this shit over and have been losing sleep trying to accurately depict my feelings about this in a way that can be easily understood, but honestly, it really just doesn't matter. I think one of the biggest reasons this game wasn't difficult for me is because it's just not a new franchise to me anymore. I mean, hell, one of the biggest criticisms people make of World is it's apparently too easy, but that game whipped my ass for years. I made a video earlier this week about how I felt Monster Hunter Wilds was too easy, and basically used an example of how I used to have to prepare for my hunts in World, and holy crap, I have been getting flamed by the comments in that video. It really does just go to show how much different your experience in these games will be if you've played them before. Now that I'm technically an experienced player, the fact that I'm no longer new to the franchise and can genuinely help people out is like crazy exciting to me. The only reason I got into this damn game is because my friend helped me get into it. And now it's time for me to return the favor to so many new players who are gonna feel the exact same way about this game that I do World. I know this turned more into me fondly looking back on the past than an actual discussion on the difficulty of the game, guys. But the fact of the matter is who cares if the game is easier than it used to be? Who cares if you no longer have to farm a specific monster 20 times to get a drop? Monster Hunter Wilds respects your time, and I appreciate that. And just because I've had the time to play this game for nearly 80 hours in 2 weeks absolutely does not mean everyone else has. The enhanced drop rates and more casual and laid-back difficulty is nothing but an improvement for the base game, and is going to help this franchise grow even larger. I mean, hell, this silly little game has sold over 8 million copies in a week, and is one of the only games to ever reach 1 million players consecutively playing on Steam. And it's genuinely mostly thanks to the fact that the team over at Capcom is making the game easier to pick up. I know personally, if I would have tried to play Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate before World, I would have absolutely hated it. But now that these games have clicked with me, I'm excited to play the older games, and will actually be able to appreciate them. Basically, what I'm saying, guys, is no matter what game you started out with, be it Wilds, World, or even the very first game, remember that we are all hunters playing and experiencing this amazing game together. Monster Hunter Wilds has easily taken a spot in my list of best games I've ever played. The sense of adventure, charm, action, everything is here. While yes, the game didn't challenge me like World did, I understand that it's mostly because of how I've grown as a player, and I'm just super excited to see what's coming next for Wilds. Until then, I'll be helping new players, chilling with my Palico, and probably be returning the World so I can get a decent dose of nostalgia. Monster Hunter is one of my favorite franchises ever, and even though I'm technically a newcomer to the series, seeing its recent popularity has made me nothing but happy and excited for the future. I just want to touch on one last thing before I let you guys go. This game has come out at a really interesting time for me. A lot of things in my life have kind of fallen apart, and I'm just now getting the strength to pull myself out of a pit that I've been stuck in for a while. This video has been such an important project for me. Such an important wake-up call that I need to do things that I love. And one of the things I love more than anything is video games. I know this has nothing to do with the game, guys, but this is your wake-up call. Find something you love more than anything in the world and devote yourself to it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and goodbye.